Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yori Kemp, the host with the most. And thank you for joining me again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. Okay, if you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page as LimeVibe77, as LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. And it really helps us to keep the show going. You like and you share and you subscribe and you comment to our content. I just want to let you guys know too that there is a donate link inside the description as well. So anything that you feel that it was in your heart to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast, please do so. We greatly appreciate that. But more importantly, we want you to share the content. Share the content with as much persons as you can, and like and subscribe to our channel. That would help us out a lot. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few things to talk about today. Yeah, I'm going to be here by myself again today. Like I said, Kim is gone now. I think she's going to be gone for quite some time if she ever comes back. But you're going to have me. We're going to keep the show going, okay? We're going to keep the line going. So there's a few things we're going to talk about today. But first, before we talk about that, though, I just want to say I want to thank you guys, all of my subscribers out there who are joining us right now. I just want to say thank you for keeping us here. Thank you for coming in and sticking with us through as we go through these transitions and these changes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys mean a lot to me. Okay, I just want to remind you guys as well, we have another interview, a LimeVibe conversation up on the YouTube and Facebook page. We talked to a Shelly Ann Patrick. She's an author out of Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, and she told us about her challenges in her books. Fight Back is the second one, and the first one is The Thief Who Stole My Time. And the first one really is the most important book because she details all of the struggle she had and all of the things that set her back, what she claims, all of her challenges, she said, that stopped her from being who she wanted to be. She talked about an abortion she had back when she was in her 20s. Okay, she talked about that and how she regrets it even to this day. She's 40 now, and she regrets that abortion she had in her 20s. She said that if she wished she had not done that, and she wished that she could go back and she could take it back, that she would. But she also wants to use that experience. Okay, she wants to use that experience as a guiding post for other young women who are contemplating abortion and who are also contemplating life choices right now. And she wants them to sit and think about what they want to do and what they're trying to do with their life and their body before they make any rash decision. And then think about it from her perspective, how she regrets it right now that she went through that abortion. So please go on the YouTube page, LimeVibe77, or the Facebook page, LimeVibe77, and you can see her full interview as Shelly Ann Patrick from Trinidad and Tobago, and the author of The Thief That Stole My Time, and the author of Fight Back. So thank you guys. I want you guys to check it out. It's a really good interview, man. One of my better ones, I think. Only about a half hour long, but it's a really good one. Okay. So let's get into what we want to talk about tonight. Okay. We got to talk about Hurricane Lee. Hurricane Lee was, made it over the Caribbean, went around the Caribbean islands. It didn't hit any Caribbean island directly. However, it did send a lot of swells, a lot of sea swells into a lot of the islands on the eastern band of the Caribbean. It was a Category 3 hurricane, and apparently over the weekend, it upgraded to Category 5 as it barreled up to the North Atlantic. So it's going to go up as a Northern Atlantic Category 5 hurricane. That's what the AP is saying. The Associated Press is saying. And it's northern of the Leeward Islands. That's up north past the Bahamas. Okay? And it's moving northwest at 8 miles per hour. And Lee was the 12th named storm of this Atlantic hurricane season. And we have another storm that's brewing far out in the Atlantic called Tropical Storm Margot. But that is far out in the Atlantic. And I don't think we're going to be hit by that at all. But we did have a close shave with Hurricane Lee. We just want to thank God that Hurricane Lee did not hit any Caribbean island as a Category 3. And we just want to thank God that he spared us again. And hopefully we can get through the month of September, which is a real busy month for hurricanes. Let's get through September without any kind of issues, any kind of major hurricane. So it may get busy before the end of the month. All right, but let's hope we get through September without any blemishes. And speaking of September, I just want you guys to mourn with us and remember the 9/11 attacks that happened in New York City at the World Trade Center and the Pentagon in the United States. Okay, I just want to give my condolences to people who lost their lives and the families that are still struggling with their loss. And I just want to give my condolences to the United States altogether because they had their memorials today as they normally have every year since 9/11. September 9/11. And it's 22 years ago. It was the 9/11 attacks. 22 years ago, okay? And do you guys remember what you were doing on 9/11? You remember exactly what you were doing on 9/11? I remember exactly what I was doing on 9/11. I had worked the night shift the night before, and so I was sleeping that day. And I was awakened by my mother, who was there at the time. She told me, Yuri, get up, Yuri. Apparently there is an attack on the United States. That's like an attack. And I was still kind of half sleeping from the night shift before, and I had to go back to work that same evening again. So I was like, oh my goodness. And I woke up and I saw the first plane had already hit the towers, the World Trade Center. And then with my very own eyes, I saw the second plane dash into the second tower. I was like, oh my goodness, it's on. The United States really is under attack. What does that mean for the Bahamas? What does it mean for all the Caribbean islands who depend on the Bahamas? Is America going to be America after this? And it was a real scary time, man. And I was glued to the television that entire day, that entire September 11th back in 2001. I was glued to the television set. I had to find out what was going on. Okay. And I was in utter shock, man. I couldn't believe that happened in the United States. Well, of course, you know the story. Osama bin Laden and the Taliban, they coordinated the attack from their dugout, their hideout in Afghanistan. They got some jihadists from Egypt and around the Arab world to carry out these attacks, to fly these planes into the World Trade Center, to the Pentagon. At that time, nobody knew that these terrorists were only training to crash the planes. They thought that they were doing flight training just, for their own benefit. No one really checked to see exactly if they were learning how to land the planes. And I guess back now, we can say, oh no, how stupid we were to think that these guys were only just trying to learn how to fly these planes, right? But now we know now. Now they have the rest of the world, going through all these security checks at the airport. I have to take my shoes off every time I go through a security screen at the airport. And it's dehumanizing to have to be packed down. If you get that SSS check on your ticket, that means you are being screened for extra security measures at the airport. So that means they're going to pat you down. They're going to go through all of your belongings, whether it's fine tooth comb. And so all of this was as a result of Osama bin Laden and the Taliban. I just want to give my condolences for the people who are memorial right now on 9/11. My hearts and my prayers go out to you. My heart goes out to you for what you've suffered. I just want to thank the first responders as well for getting on the ground so quickly and helping some of those people who could get off those towers. They really get off the towers before they crumble down, because that was the second time I saw. That's the second thing I remember. I actually saw those towers go down one by one, and they came like a ton of bricks. That's one after the other. And I was thinking, well, wow, I thought that the towers were going to lean over, but no, how they were constructed to implode on each other. And I heard all the conspiracy theories that, oh no, the planes, the towers were imploded. No, those towers were built specifically to implode on each other in the event that something like that had happened. All right. And so, this is not a conspiracy theory zone, but we believe those towers came down on their own, just like how the analysts and the engineering analysts had said. They were built that way to come down. Because, my goodness, they were right over New York City. Do you think that the architects and engineers are going to build a tower that could topple over and topple on other structures? No. Use your common sense, man. People aren't that dumb. All right. And they're very smart engineers and architects, that constructed the World Trade Center. And they constructed it to go down on top of each other. And like I said, I just want to thank those brave first responders, those firefighters that went into those buildings, knowing full well that those buildings could come down on top of them at any given point in time to get out as much people as they humanly could, as they possibly could. I just want to thank them for keeping those people who they could get out of the World Trade Center. Thank you for saving those persons. And thank you for the persons that lost their lives at 9/11. Their bravery knows no bounds. Okay? Their bravery knows no bounds. I just want to go on and further thank the United States for finding Osama bin Laden and for finding the terrorists that took down those buildings and destroying that network, because they would have wreaked havoc on the rest of the world. They believe in this jihad. We even had jihadists from Trinidad and Tobago. They went over to fight the jihad in Iraq and Afghanistan against the infidels, the oppressors, the United States and the British. And they were the ones that attacked us. They attacked us because there were other attacks in Britain and in France as well, terrorist attacks. They wanted to attack us for our way of life. Now, say what you want to say. Okay, those attacks attack us civilians. They weren't attacking, military constellations, military installations. All right, they attack us as civilians. We didn't do them a damn thing. Now, if you want to attack like a U.S. destroyer or a warship or U.S. tanks or U.S. Bases all around the world, then fine, do that. What you brought back to us, they're regular civilians. That was a no-no. I just want to thank the United States government and the British government for going and taking it to those terrorists in Afghanistan and Iraq. I just want to thank them for doing that on behalf of us to keep the rest of the world safe, because trust me, these attacks were going to go on for the rest of our lives. And every year, every day, there are people out there that think nothing other than trying to stop another terrorist attack on American soil, or another soft target, or an American ally, or a British ally, or a British protectorate. So I just want to thank those guys in the NSA and the CIA and the U.S. military complex, as well as the British military complex as well, for keeping us safe. I just want to thank them for that, because without them, we would not have our way of life. We would not be walking around living in peace. Yeah. So, once again, I say condolences to the person that lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks. My heart goes out to you and your family. And let's hope that we never have another 9/11 attack like that, or an attack like that ever again. We just hope that security stays at the optimum level. And we hope that we can keep peace throughout the rest of the world. I pray for peace. So that's that right there. And on top of that, something with the United States in particular. People said that the chickens had come home to roost for Osama bin Laden. That they played footsie with him while he was in Afghanistan. They used him to fight the Soviet Union at the time in Afghanistan. They armed him with weapons and they trained him to fight against the Soviet Union during the Cold War, when the Soviet Union tried to occupy Afghanistan. And you could say that. However, that did not equate to, bombing and flying planes into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon and disrupting our way of life as civilians. You were a willing participant with the United States when they were fighting against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. You're a willing participant. I'm getting something from my producer here, and for some reason they like to get involved in my show. Yeah, condolences are for the living, not for the dead. Yes, condolences are for the living and not for the dead. My condolences to the living. Yeah, thank you for no, Miss Producer. Yeah, condolences for the living and not for the dead. And my respects go out to the dead. May they rest in peace. And so, with that, let's move on to another topic. I've already been shown out by my producer. And my producer. So she wants to get involved in this conversation so badly, but she's only the producer. She's behind the scenes. Another regional story, a regional story that some Caribbean nations are preparing formal letters to the British royal family, asking them to apologize and make reparations for slavery. Okay, it was found out that King Charles and the entire British royal family was involved heavily in the slave trade, and they benefited from the slave trade. And they also had a plantation in Virginia as well. And so they wanted the royal family to apologize formally for their role in slavery. Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the two foremost countries, apparently, that are going to send formal letters to the royal family asking them to apologize for slavery. The National Reparations Commissions in the region also want to approach the Lloyds of London and the Church of England. The Church of England also was involved in slavery. Who would have thought? The Church of England was involved in slavery as well. At that time, everybody in Europe was involved in slavery. Okay, in every European country, from United Kingdom to France, to Belgium in particular, with King Leopold and his butchery of people in the Congo, they should make apologies for the rest of the non-European world for putting them in slavery and for butchering them, like how King Leopold did to the Congo people. They had no respect for people of color, no respect whatsoever. They were sold as chattel, they were sold as slaves, and we brought to this new world and left here. And so they have a right to ask for reparations. The Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines had a right to ask for reparations. Okay? It's a serious matter because we see the Holocaust victims, they are recognized every time. They're recognized on a daily basis. We can't forget about the Holocaust. So why must we forget about slavery? My thing is, I just want the reparations to go to something meaningful. I don't want it to go millions of dollars be handed to our governments. That's going to be wasted for sure. I want to go to institutions that support the Caribbean, like the University of the West Indies, the University of Bahamas, and universities around the Caribbean, first of all, to get the first handing of that money. And also the development banks in the region, they should be given that money if there's ever going to be any money from reparations to help build and support and go for programs that help to build and support the Caribbean on a regional level. It shouldn't go to individual countries themselves and individual governments. Absolutely not. I don't believe that at all. And I believe Sir Hilary Beckles believes the same thing as well. He wants, well, of course, he will say that he wants to go to the University of the West Indies because he's the vice chancellor of the University of the West Indies. But he has a point. Not that he is biased to that extent, but because he has a prime position to see that, you know, some University of the West Indies can use that reparation because it's being used to benefit the region, and it's been educating people in the region for decades, and it's actually building up the human capital of the region. And it's also putting in a lot of resources into the region as well. And so agencies like the University of the West Indies and other development bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, should be first and foremost on anybody's mind in regards to reparations, not individual countries, not individual governments. Absolutely not. So the Lloyds of London and the Church of England should get involved in this as well too, all right? Because they play a significant role in the slave trade, along with the British royal family. And, you know, the United Kingdom was built off the back of slaves. You know, I studied in the UK for about 2 years, and I saw the architecture and the infrastructure. I saw what they'd be able to build off of the back of slaves and indentured servants. Yes, they have built a lovely life for themselves, a good life for themselves. And their people don't even realize that they built it off of our backs. Right now, we have to continually push that message that you built this cushy life that you have in the United Kingdom, in the United States, in France, in Belgium, based off of my ancestors' hard work and diligence. Hard work and for no pay. That needs to be paid for. You need to pay it back. And I think that it's, as it continues to grow, and as this generation of Europeans and Americans, they understand that they have to do something, and their heart is pricking them. Yes, they understand that they can't move forward like this anymore. It's pricking their conscience as well as it should, need those reparations. So as we continue to work with the other generations, we have to continue to be cognizant that these things cannot be swept under the rug anymore. And the truth is coming out, and the truth has been out. How in the world could the British royal family and the Church of England deny their part in slavery when these Caribbean islands, the English-speaking Caribbean islands, was as a result of colonization and bringing slaves to these colonies? How could they deny that? How could you fix that? How could you lie and say that you didn't play a part? You were grossly involved. You were directly involved. Yeah, that they were trying to say that they weren't involved. You know, I don't see how you could say you weren't involved. You need to own up to your part in slavery. Yes, you need to. And that's not being cute or being cheeky. That's just telling the truth. You know, own up to your part in slavery. Because you see hurricanes happen in this country every year, in this region every year. You know, that alone should move your heart to say, well, here, you know, something. And not only that, you have protectorates still in this region. You have the Turks and Caicos, you have the British Virgin Islands, and you have Anguilla. You still have protectorates in this region that are vestiges of your slave past, your slavery past. How could you say that, you know, you didn't play a part in slavery when you have islands still in the Caribbean that you still own? My God, don't ever say that again, please. It goes on deaf and no one believes it. No one believes it at all. You actually anger the rest of the right-thinking world. You anger the rest of us. So, yeah. Another story that we spoke about on Friday is, remember this brick lady, this lady that was hit in the face with a brick, allegedly hit in the face with a brick, because now the truth is coming out now that she wasn't exactly hit with the brick, because no one actually seen any surveillance video, and no one actually has come forward and been arrested for being hit with a brick. And she had her face swollen up. This lady in Houston, this Somali lady called Ro Bashi, a Somali woman in Houston. She went viral last week when she claimed she was hit in the face with a brick by a man she refused to give her telephone number to, her cell phone number to. And it comes to find out she has a history of making these things up. She has a history of playing hoaxes. And she played a similar hoax back in 2020 that someone attacked her at an event. And she was trying to go viral then, but this now, she went viral with this now after being hit in the face. And there's a nice video on YouTube by a gentleman called, I'm gonna get it for you right now. A gentleman called, let's go to that video right now. I'm gonna play the video too. Give him full credit. Called Fawcett Media. Okay? Fawcett Media. Let's share it right now. He give you the good right now. It's about 11 minutes. I'm gonna play the entire thing. So you can see exactly what we're talking about right here. Let's go. Let's share the screen. Go to basic share screen. And then the woman's really seedy. She's really sick in the face, sick in the head, man. Let's go share the screen. Fawcett Media. Let's play this right here. Well, there you have it, man. She was treated for an allergic reaction. Man, my God, we were hoodwinked. We were bamboozled. We were run amok. We were lied to and scammed by the same day. And everyone came up with such sympathy. And they started to bash black men for sitting there and letting her be hit. But now no one actually saw her be hit. No one actually saw her hit. No one actually saw anyone hit her with a brick. And on top of that, it was getting kind of suspicious to me that nobody was actually arrested for this yet, because you just can't hit someone with a brick and get away with it. There should be someone who witnessed that, or surveillance footage, or something of that nature, or she should have filed a police complaint. She didn't actually file a police complaint. She just was crying and making noise on social media. That is so wicked. I'm glad we was able to pass this out and spread this out before, you know, it got to a critical mass before we started to give her money again. Because as the video said, she pulled this again, or she pulled this before, back in 2020. where she alleged somebody attacked her. She raised $5,000 for an attack. My God, what a wicked woman. Let's watch the rest of it. Let's start it again. Yeah. So you see, social media is going to find out, man. There are too many people on social media that analyze these things on a daily basis. And we already have a lot of conspiracy theorists anyway, a lot of skeptics anyway. So sooner or later, it's going to be found out. And this is more consistent. What they describe is more consistent with what she went through. Because I found it strange. Nobody actually saw her hit with a brick. And there's no surveillance footage, and no one's been arrested for this as yet. Now, American police officers would gladly pick up a black man in the United States for assault. They would gladly process him. You know that for a fact, okay? For the mere fact nobody was actually picked up for that should be a red flag right there. And I raised skepticism on the first day. You know, they said it was a Haitian man, blah, blah, blah. There was no Haitian, there was no man that actually hit her now. I'm more inclined to believe this YouTuber, this YouTuber for coming with the truth and the facts on this. You know, let's finish watching it anyway. Let's watch the rest of it. That's right. Mm. That's all right there. You see, the truth came out, man. I'm just so disgusted that so many people fell for that, fell for the bricklaying, fell for Obashi's these tricks. And she's been up to this since 2020 at the very least. You should be ashamed of yourself for jumping to conclusion. But then again, you wouldn't have known. It just goes to show you how sophisticated these scam artists really are. That's really wicked, you know. That's a real wicked, scam she pulled. That was extremely wicked. She pulled the wool over many people's eyes. And that's how a lot of things are. These false flags are a lot of reasons why conflict starts and people get angry with each other. And people start to argue and fuss. She may have started whole arguments inside households about how men treat women because of her lie and her hopes. See, we just thinking that it was just fun and games, right? But no, people actually took sides on this, man. You know how emotional some people can actually get when they get involved in these emotive kind of arguments in these situations. Things are said and real bricks get thrown. And she's just a wicked woman, man. Just a wicked woman. But anyway, let's move to some more positive news. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but last week, a Bahamian American was named the first Black Miami Beach Police Department police chief, Wayne Jones. Congratulations to Wayne Jones, a Bahamian American who was named the Miami Beach Police Department's new police chief. He was sworn in on August 31st, and he took his position formally last week. So shout out to Wayne Jones in Miami Beach, a Bahamian that's making waves inside the United States. Okay, now we said that, let's recap what we talked about tonight. We talked about Hurricane Lee. It brought some swells. It's moving up to the Atlantic now, going up the eastern seaboard of the United States. It's out of the Caribbean way right now. It just brought some heavy swells. That's about it. We also got to prepare for Tropical Storm Margot, that's far off in the Atlantic. It doesn't threaten the Caribbean in any way, shape, or form. We just got to keep our eye on it. Okay, Tropical Storm Margot. It's a 13th storm. Tropical Storm Margot is the 13th storm to be named. We also got to remember the September 11 attacks that happened 22 years ago, September 11, 2001, where the United States World Trade Center, the World Trade Center towers and the Pentagon were hit by planes flown by jihadists and terrorists trained to actually kill and maim people. Arabs, under the directions of Osama bin Laden and Muhammad al-Zawahiri, okay, and just to attack American installations and Western freedom under the George Bush administration. What a scary time. Like I told you, I remember what I was doing. I worked the night shift at the Domino's Pizza that night before. So I was sleeping that morning. I didn't see the first plane hit. But when I got up, I saw the second plane hit. And then I was glued to TV all day. And then I saw the towers actually come down later on that day. It was a real scary time. We were all on alert. The entire Caribbean was on alert. We were all praying and hoping that the best would come out for America, our closest ally and friend in the region. So I just want to give my condolences to the people that are left behind to pick up the lives of their loved ones, the people who lost their lives. May they rest in peace. And hopefully we never have another attack on that scale ever again in the Western Hemisphere or in any kind of soft target that Americans congregate or any of their allies really congregate, because it really destroyed the world. It changed the world forever. You can never walk through security at the airport again without thinking about September 11th. Okay, so my condolences once again. And also, Caribbean nations now, the other story, Caribbean nations are preparing to write formal letters to the British royal family asking them to formally apologize for their role in slavery, their part in slavery, and actually start to pay for reparations for some of the damage they've done to the ancestors and to the descendants of slaves left in these islands. And there's no way they could say they were involved in the slave trade because these islands were owned by the Crown, British Royal Crown. These were owned by the Crown. So there's no way that the British royal family could say they had no part in slavery. They actually tried to say that, and they were rightfully, debunked and rejected for their foolish claims that they didn't have a part in slavery. And no disrespect to King Charles and the British royal family. I actually like the royal family. However, just at least own up to it and try to push harder to get these reparations for us here in the Caribbean, because we see that the Jews don't let us forget about the Holocaust at all. And the Indians already got their land in the United States, the descendants of the Indians and Native Americans. It's only the black slaves, the descendants of black slaves. We don't have our part yet. Yes, we are in control of these islands here in the Caribbean, but to how much the extent we've actually put into making sure the British Empire and the United States Empire is what it is, we have not gotten that much as yet. What we put into building these islands and building the Western Hemisphere. We need more. Building the Western world, I should say. We need more. And countries like France, like the United Kingdom, like the United States, like Belgium, they should pay reparations to the rest of us. Now, as I said before, it should not go to individual governments. It should go to institutions like the University of West Indies, Caribbean Development Bank that know how to develop and know how to disperse the money into meaningful programs and initiatives around the region. So yes, reparations would just ensure we know how we're going to spend that money, how we're going to get some of that money, those resources back into the Caribbean. So be mindful of that as well. And also remember, we just spoke about the last thing, this Robashi lady, the Somali lady, apparently it was a hoax, and the truth is coming out on social media. Social media never misses. These independent journalists on social media, like LimeVibe, we're here to expose the falsehood in the culture, the fakeness in the culture. And we're here for you to give you that kind of information. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's me for tonight. I want to thank you once again for joining us for the LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yori Kemp, here on the LimeVibe Live podcast. And if you have not done so, please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, LimeVibe77. That's LimeVibe77 on Facebook and YouTube. It really helps us to keep the message going, help us keep the machine going, and letting people know that what's going on here in the Caribbean, that we have a voice out here in the Caribbean, okay? So tune in again with us. Again, we're not going to be here on Wednesday. We're going to be back again on Friday for another LimeVibe Live podcast. So please tune in for that on Friday at 8:30 right here at the same time. And then we appreciate your patronage. We appreciate you supporting the show. And also, as I said as well, there's also a donate link inside the description. So anything that moves your heart to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast, we would gratefully appreciate it. And we will use it to help to keep the machine going. That is the LimeVibe Live podcast. So like, share, subscribe to our YouTube page and our Facebook page. We really would appreciate it. So thank you once again for joining us for LimeVibe Live podcast. Let's crank up our music, our outro music. Where are we? I didn't even have a cue up already. Are we ready to go? Let's share that music. We're going to get here. So thank you once again. And also shout out to Wayne. Let me get his name right. Sorry. Wayne. Shout out to Wayne Jones, the new Miami Beach Police Department chief, Wayne Jones. He's a Bahamian American. He was just installed as the police chief of the Miami Beach Department. So he's the first non-black. He's the first black, I should say, non-white police chief of the Miami Beach Department, Miami Beach Police Department. So please shout out to Wayne Jones in South Florida, Miami Beach. And we just want to continually give him our support and our thank you. We love him from Yori Camp at the LimeVibe Live podcast. So thank you once again. Let's get out of here now. So please, thank you so much.